Hello guys, and welcome back to End All Wars with our Eastern Entente playthrough. In the last episode we got through quite a few turns, not a lot of eventful stuff happening, but stuff happening nonetheless. We looked over the other fronts and certain situations, how the war is progressing at the very end of the episode, and coming into this episode, we now have a lot of situations to deal with this turn, mostly ones that are recovering. My troops are all messed up in Eastern Prussia, running low on supplies, just trying to get the fuck out. I got a lot of them on a train, finally. But they'll be out of commission for a few turns. Except these troops, which are going to Kauno and should be arriving, I don't know when at this point. It's been 2 turns for the past 2 turns. And they will be fighting von Hindenburg in a pretty sorry state. But looks like von Hindenburg's supplies seem to be lacking as well, so who knows, it might work out pretty well. I have brought this Finland army down south to confront these units. I have an army corps coming down to support him now. It should arrive next turn, so I'm holding him for now. I eventually plan on combining this army corps with that Finland army and just growing it a little bit. I am moving an army corps that I merged into this army group west to join this army group. Because, I don't know, I felt like they could use some help. After all, they seem pretty surrounded right now, and you know what? If they don't end up needing it, I'll pass it along to this army, which only has 2 accompanying corps. It's pretty versatile when you're working with army corps. You can pretty much move them around armies however much you want to achieve whatever it is you want. I mean, I sent an army corps down here. This army really doesn't need any additional corps, and I'm using it as like a rear force, a rear guard kind of deal. I still have these guys on the assault. We're going to try to take Ivangorod Fort back this turn, hopefully, and then just sit there in the defense and try to stand up to all these many Austrians that are staring us right in the face, down the throat. This entire army group is deactivated, so I'm not doing anything with it. This one is still mostly deactivated, but the goal is still to retake Dubno from the Austrians. This one is still just trying to take on Stanislaw to acquire the depot here. Their cohesion's a little low from moving non-stop through woods. The army that was around here is either in the fog of war areas or it's gone. I don't know. But there's small forces behind us now that are propping up, and I'm going to keep an eye on them because I may be able to kind of turn around and confront them in a turn or so with these this army unit here. Still leaving this group back at this fort to kind of defend the rear so no one gets past them. We have a lot of troops moving around on the map right now. We got some Siberian troops, I believe. Or it's called the Orenburg Corpus. One of them Siberian anyway. So I'm sending them westwards, and I'm going to utilize my HQ unit here. Now I'm just tossing a bunch of the things I'm recruiting into him so I don't have to organize them right now, organize them later. I can get him somewhere that could be helpful, because right now I just need troops sent to locations. I need to establish a front and deal with the craziness that is the start of the war ASAP. In about a turn, we're expecting the Ottomans to join the war, which is really unfortunate. Serbia, I have all sorts of troops going all around. I got some more Serbian commanders, which I desperately needed because they did not have enough command points. So I'm going to keep tossing units. I have spent all my money this turn without recruiting a goddamn thing. The reason for that is because instead I'm placing down some munitions factories. One over at Minsk here, you could see under him. And I'm putting one up in Petrograd, which is one of the main objectives of the entire war, which I can show you here. You can see the temporary objectives are gone. Petrograd, Moscow. You know, I could have put one in Moscow, but it's all the way back there. Petrograd, I decided to put one at Minsk because it's closer to the front, but not too dangerously close, because we are going to need some more munitions. I took stock of our ammo situation. Whereas we may have a decent amount of supplies and food floating around, it's so hard to find munitions, like, anywhere. And that's problematic. So I'm going to respond to this now. I believe it only takes a single turn for a munitions factory to build. Let me see. Produce 5 ammunition each turn. It produces so little, too, though, you know? But it takes, 2 engagement points, 200 state funds, and 100 war supply just to make one of these. I'm probably going to pump out a lot of these starting soon. I didn't realize how bad the munition situation for Russia was until I took stock of it and I realized what supplies my units are starting to lack on. I think this was a problem for Russia during the entire war, so, it's still 1914. We're going to take care of this as soon as we can. I don't think I'll need a lot more troops right now, so I have the leeway to start spending in this area. And with that, I'm going to hit next turn, and we are going to hope everything goes according to plan. No nasty surprises hit us over on the Eastern Front, which has been very quiet for a couple turns. It's been nice and quiet, with little happening that we didn't expect, at least little of consequence, whereas the Western Front seems to be going disastrously, with their losses being very high, and I don't think their KDR is looking too good. I think my KDR has been very good, at least positive. I don't know how the Western Entente's doing exactly, but I think they're fighting a much harder war right now, but I think that's just because they're AI, and AI suck. But we'll see. Alright, we have our first fight, and it was over the Ivangorod Fort. All they had in here was a telegraph group, a signal commander group by the looks of it. Maybe more hidden, I'm not sure, but it's completely eliminated, and I guess we've taken over the fort. If that's all that was there to stop us. Looks like the rail line got fucked up over in Dubno, unfortunately. Oh, we can see stuff happening over here. There was some naval battle, some kind of German bombardment going on. I'm not sure. That's some Western Entente stuff happening. Ooh, man, we got a nice big Austrian force coming towards Ivangorod Fort. Ivangorod's seen a lot of the early war battling, I gotta say. Hindenburg is looking weaker than ever, all of a sudden. Man. Oh, we have Austrians seeming to move in towards... Yep, they're moving in towards Ivangorod Fort. I think all those troops we saw, by the way, that last battle, about a turn ago, when we first attacked the fort, was actually troops neighboring. And I believe that's the troops headed back towards us right now, so I think... Oh! Yep, here they come. I think me sending the corps over here was actually a really smart idea. What does the AI suggest we do? It suggests we do a wave assault, and remind me what a wave assault is. Ah, yes, this is the not as committing. Well, let's see why we would do that. Well, they're artillery, and they have infantry, but they don't have any overwhelming amounts of either. They definitely have a weak position, so we could do with storming them. We have cavalry. I don't believe infantry is really involved in here. Definitely we would want to avoid a mass fire because we don't have a lot more artillery than them, and it really puts to shame our advantages. Our only real other option is a balanced deployment. I think I'm going to go with what the AI suggests here. Usually it tends to pick the best thing, but I have once so far changed it. I don't usually show myself pressing the button, but that's because I'm usually determining what's the best, and just by doing that, I found I only really need to change it one every half dozen times. Let's go ahead, go to battle. Oh, the reinforcements came in the middle of it. And we have a big battle, the biggest battle that has happened in a while. Ooh, looks like our plan failed anyway. On round 2, the first chance it got to do anything, but so did their little counter march. And we went to a balanced deployment anyway on both sides. Both sides, only 3 rounds of combat. They lost 23,000 infantry to our 7,500. That is great, especially considering that they had 30,000 more troops than us. We had 4,000 more cavalry than them, but we did see higher cavalry losses. And we each lost the same amount of artillery, their total higher with their reinforcements. So it's a victory for sure. We're seeing some good damage on their infantry, which is good. Whereas I'd love to knock their more valuable assets, like their artillery, out of the war. Knocking infantry out is great. You see this manpower, this conscript, you notice it's been going down every single turn? Well, shit like this is why. Because of the constant losses we're suffering, and the more losses we can suck out of the Central Powers, the better. We're not really going to get much more of it, because no one really joins the Eastern Entente. Really have to be careful. I'm also going to be more careful with my money. Usually I save a little bit for reinforcements, but I just kind of really wanted some munitions. I did just notice that it tells me my total amount of munitions up here. I didn't notice that before. I'm going to compare that to previous videos and see exactly how good it is. Russian defeat, yikes. One of our commanders was caught out trying to get back towards the territory and was attacked. Suffered more losses, yeah, despite having more troops. Really weird. That's unfortunate. Our troops are kind of disoriented up there, which is a shame. It's a mixture of just overextending, maybe some bad management, I'm not sure. But it's not the best situation. Oh, we can see, looks like Belfort, the surrounding area, has fallen. Still under siege by the looks of it. No holes in the fortifications. Alright, so I've compared it to an older video, and actually our amount of ammunition has actually just been going up, which is amazing. I don't need to rush building any more factories. By the way, I learned take 5 turns, not 1. Yeah, so the Finland army here will be heading south now. Just one textile region south. Try to scare out this guy right here. I mean, I don't think I can, like... Can I target him? Okay, I can target him. Doesn't usually work when I try to do that for some reason. Or it just ends up going badly. So I'm going to try to hunt this guy into extinction, basically. That's also not really what I want to do. I just want to move down here. Also, he's now not... I'm retarded, and he's now not moving synchronized. Let's turn on synchronized movement, please. Then do that. Alright, well, I guess my plans over here are a bust. I'm guessing these are both considered corps, despite this just being called an army. Because they're rank 2 commanders or something? I don't know. This game has a lot of things buried in the manual that it doesn't really explain quite well. That's going to end up changing a couple of my plans, because I planned on making this like its own independent army, but I can't do that anymore, so... Fuck, I might send this corps off by itself to join one of these other armies. I may take all 3 of these and combine them with this HQ once it gets a little more powerful, once, you know, some more power rolls in. But for now, they can move at the same speed roughly, so I'm going to have them travel together. They're pretty well endowed. I think they can do just fine by themselves. I guess I'm going to have this guy take over them. It's a weird situation, but the most logical explanation I know of is just that the armies have 3-star and the corps have 2-star leaders, or lower. Maybe you can only command those lower than yourself. The tutorial doesn't cover it, and I read the manual of Rise of Prussia in and out. It didn't really cover it. We are fine. It's been taking forever, but we are finally, as of tomorrow, about to arrive with this whole goddamn fucking army to Kauno. Okay, well, if they're moving together, then it's 5 days, but I don't see how this can get delayed any further, which is good, because von Hindenburg over here is losing strength every turn. We might be able to beat the shit out of him, which would be amazing. It's a fucking mess over here. I don't want to talk about it. Respect that. Down here, it's winter. The Russian winter started last turn, like up towards the Urals, but then it went away. But now it's just like, I can't go on any offensives because of the snow, or I'm going to get my ass beat. So I'm just going to sit in place and hold my ground as I have been doing. We have retaken Ivangorod, which is nice. We got some of our land back, which is awesome. As for pushing out from here, well, we'll see. I'm building some militia in some places, such as right here, where I want there to be some kind of garrison. And I'm going to... No, not here. In Ivangorod. I'm building 2 militia units. I'm going to toss them into the fort, because we had militia there. And we had artillery, but it's gone now. So I'm going to toss the militia in there. I'm just going to toss the 2 in there that I could build there once they finish. Be a new kind of protection. I built some elsewhere, not very much, because I was going through my money pretty quickly. Zamosk Fort is under attack again, and there's not a lot I can do about that right now. This whole army's cohesion is terrible, so I'm just going to have them sit down, stay still, and avoid crossing a river and going into some snowy death trap. And then, of course, we have our situation over here. We have nearly retaken Dubno, which is nice. I don't know if we are actively retaking it. I do know that the rail line here is cut. I'd like to rebuild it. Engineer can be used to speed up the work. So I'm going to turn that on, I guess. Because I'd like to rebuild that rail. These guys are just going to sit here for a little bit because they have some recovering to do as well. This unit is still headed to Ivangorod for the time being. Which I'm going to leave it on that kind of track so long as this situation is going on with all these troops. Luckily, if they attack now, they're at a huge disadvantage. So I want to get this troop over there just in case, and then if it ends up being okay over here, I'm going to move it up to accompany this general here. So he has a larger force to command, and maybe he could start pushing towards Lodz, which hasn't fallen yet, but, you know, there's enemy troops around here, and there's a good amount of them. A lot of Austrians coming out of German land. Kind of interesting. I'm railing all of our troops back, which will only take 2 days to Czernowitz to confront the troops that have been amassing behind us. I'm going to hopefully catch them here and assault them the moment we get there. If they don't run away, which they might. This leader has showed back up, and he seems to be heading into our territory. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. Somewhere around here, I believe right here is where I have a... Somewhere around here, I have more militia. Yeah, right over here. More militia recruiting that I'm just going to kind of toss in. I'm looking at securing my rear for the time being. Down in Serbia, not a whole lot's changing. One of their leaders here, who looks Japanese, quite frankly, has marched into Belgrade. I'm not going to attack him, because if I attack him, it's going to lure all this other crap over here into joining him, I'm pretty certain. I'd rather be on the defensive for that. This dude still looks like he's heading over here, but his power seems weakened. It feels like he's abandoned most of his troops, you know? I'm not too worried, but I'm not willing to move out of my position yet. I have some good, like, defensive positions here. This has a depot anyway. It's no river crossing, but it has a depot, so at least we can kind of hold out over here. Otherwise, you know, we've gotten some more units over here, which is really nice, like a Mountaineer Brigade. Gotten some militia. My Serbian units are really messed up, and they're all in very weird situations right now. The Ottomans surprisingly haven't joined the war yet, but it's really any day right now. Looks like there's some blockading happening on the German African colonies. That's always good. Take a look at how Asia's going. Still under siege over here. China, one of the German colonies. Not a lot to speak of other than that. I know my Siberian units are still headed down right. Kind of getting a stock over everything. Look on the western front. Belfort still under siege, still not falling. These two locations still not fully fallen yet, but their rail lines being fucked up. Some raiding going on. There's fighting happening over here. Oh my god, Le Puy over here has fallen to the Central Powers. Meaning there's troops pretty deep into France, but they're running around like headless chickens right now. They don't seem to have any goal they're pushing for, which, as a reminder, they do have goals. They can take all the random shit they want. They need victory points, then they need to secure their goals. Taking that'd be it for us, but taking Paris. Paris is the most valuable thing on the fucking map, because the French only have, like, one thing. Actually, okay, no, that's mine. This is what we need to hold, or take, which for me, anyway... Or this might be for the whole Entente. Hold Paris, take Berlin, take Vienna and Budapest, hold Moscow and Petrograd. Yeah, I guess so. So what do they want? They want London, now that Great Britain's entered the war, but we don't need to hold it. But they want it. Paris is still the golden gem. They want to hold Berlin, take Moscow and Petrograd, hold Budapest and Vienna. So yeah, basically Great Britain's London was thrown in there, but that's about it. They should be heading right for Paris. But of course, their new plan doesn't really accomplish that, which means they could take the entire southern half of France and be no closer to victory. Sure, okay, they can get some infrastructure and maybe some resources by doing that. Yes, that would definitely help them. That would be important. I don't know if this game allows you to easily see, I don't think it does, how production and things like that work in this game, but it would definitely help them the more land that they get. Of course, the big objectives are all that matters. And I could say the same for our front, but I'm just trying to hold the line. You could also gain victory points, national morale especially, by winning fights, especially important fights, which is how we are at 103. The Germans, The Austrians, Central Powers in general, have been experiencing some of that as well. However, oh wow, both of their national morales have fallen. The Central Powers were at 98, they're down to 96. Western Entente was at 87, I believe, maybe 86 last turn, and they're down to 85, so some funky shit's happening. I don't remember exactly what the lost men was last turn, but it looks like the Western Entente has lost like 200,000 men in one turn. But the Central Powers has lost a good amount as well, so I really still can't tell how this war is going. It'd be easier if I could see the results for the Western Entente. Germany's just flooded by winter, but we've done really all we can right now. In the south, it's mostly a hold our own, recover, regain cohesion, outlast the growing winter tundra, escape Eastern Prussia to recover all the same, put an end to von Hindenburg. God, please put an end to von Hindenburg. Amass more troops and start pushing down south towards Memel, towards Eastern Prussia with our new Finnish troops. We have a lot of things going on right now, and the war definitely seems to be even as it stands. Let's go ahead and hit next turn, and hopefully only good things happen, but, you know, not how war goes, of course. Okay, we have a battle here, a Russian victory. Okay, so this is exactly what I was hoping to accomplish when we moved south here. We intercepted that unit and we killed 6,150 of them. I was not hoping to lose 4,100 of my own, but hey man, what are you gonna do? We crossed a river, of course, so such things should have been expected. It would have been nicer to completely wipe this division out, but I guess dealing more than we lose is still a victory, right? Yes? I don't know. Looks like one of their units over there is moving towards us, in fact. Very interesting. The AI's movements are always so scattered and confusing. It's hard to tell what the hell it's trying to do. It's so very reactionary because it can't think ahead. And it tries to micro and min-max to this weird extent, which I think kind of also assumes that you're going to stay put and not go anywhere. Oh, it's definitely moving towards us. You saw that? Oh, wow. I would never be this mobile during the winter as it is being. Ooh, it looks like we are regaining some cohesion over there. Alright, what's happened? Hindenburg! Oh, finally, I've been waiting for this day. We finally hit von Hindenburg. I'm sure it's going to recommend a full-on infantry assault. No, it's going to recommend a wave assault. Really? I don't agree with that assessment. We're going to do an infantry assault because they're very, very weak, and I want to hopefully wipe them out all at once. You know, this weather situation aside, they have no cavalry. They only have 2 artillery. They only have 6 infantry. They are weak. We must kill Hindenburg while we have the chance. Let's give it a shot. Okay. Our plan didn't even get a chance. The leadership wasn't good enough. We never even got a chance to do an infantry assault. It just failed. They counter-marched in order to retreat. Thus, we lost a little more than they did for sure. And he has bowed out to Vladislavov. So he's retreated. Only my leadership was a little better. Oh my god, he's literally going right to where we are. What the hell's happening? Oh yeah, here we go. This crazy ass motherfucker just came to where my 2 corps were, and it was a big battle, and we lost more than we killed. Oh dear. Who attacked? We were both in the offensive here, but who actually attacked? I don't know. Both went with a balanced deployment. We lost over 15,000 troops. They lost a little under 15,000. We lost 910 cav. They lost 32. We had the cav and infantry superiority. They lost 6 artillery. We lost 12. The artillery is the one place we didn't really have any superiority. If we were in the defensive, it might have worked better. Oh, but the battle continues the following day. And this time we did better. Oh, we did better today. They lost 12 to our 6 artillery. They lost 65 to our 32 cavalry. They lost 7,072 men to our 4,151. Much better results right there. A bit of even losses all around, and since we have the numerical superiority over here, Looks like it worked out for us, and he's probably retreated. And oh my god, there's the German fleet. One of the German fleets. That's terrifying. This is why I'm keeping my fleets hidden, by the way. I don't want to confront that shit. You can't make me do it. That's fucking suicide. I don't want to give them any free points. Those are some big battles with just some cores taking part, so I'm glad I waited and got them both together. What are the chances of that happening, though? Like, of him giving the order to move that way? Because that wasn't like, oh, he saw me cross and then decided to do that. Alright, what's happened here? Alright, Central Powers. I don't believe the Ottomans are still not in the Central Powers, right? No, they are. Where does it tell me that? Or did this happen a completely different turn? I'm not sure. But the Ottomans are 100% now... Oh, here we go. Accepted the Ottoman Empire into its alliance. The Ottomans are now in the war. That opens a whole new front and changes everything. Go and look. The Central Powers' land power looks unbeatable. Our combined land power does add up to more than them, me with the Western Entente, but I think it adds up to more than them, yeah. But damn, we are now to almost 200,000. We're at 190, almost 1,000 total losses. The Western Entente's at 464,000 losses. The Central Powers up to 713,500. So currently, we're actually doing pretty well. I don't remember dealing that many good losses, like that much of a KDR. So I don't quite know where that's coming from. The Western Entente must have had a good victory. But if they did, why is their national morale still so low? It seems to have gone up at least a little bit. Hopefully that maintains. The victory point count for the Central Powers has gone up. And of course now there's a new target in the war for us. And that's taking Erzurum. Which is right here, right on the border, man. The capital of the Ottoman Empire. So easy to take, right? Except no, not really. That's not going to be easy to take. They have a whole army that's going to start being used. It's not just going to start being used on us. Let's keep that in mind up here in Russia. But if, you know, these countries ever join the war, they have a road to Serbia. They have a road to Austria. And up to our other frontier. Down in the south, you know, we have Cyprus here. They may not care about it. But we have Egypt here. The Western Entente is going to have some fighting happening with the Ottomans. Thank God, right? Thank God it won't all be us. But we definitely have an issue. We're also having more troops unlocked, more cores unlocked. Probably because of the whole situation we are now encountering, of course. And so here, with another front unleashed, it seems more and more the odds are pitted against us, the Eastern Entente. Take a look, I'm sure Italy's still not any closer to joining us. Romania's getting closer and closer to joining the Entente, and still, I have no events I can do. They're all currently locked. As we can see, like the promises to Romania, I don't know when the hell this unlocks. Either way, as you can see, it would hardly help us with how much Romania is actually leaning towards the Central Powers. If that front opens up, we're even more fucked. If Bulgaria opens up, we're even more fucked. Greece, be even more fucked. I don't know if the Eastern Entente ever gets any more help other than Russia and Serbia. I'm just kind of assuming anyone that joins us joins the Western Entente anyway. And that's probably correct. What we have is all we have. Our conscripts are keeping up, but that's just because I stopped recruiting units and spending my money elsewhere. Our money's keeping up. I haven't had to do any special decisions like the others have had to do. You see where they're printing state funds. I haven't appointed much as many generals. I haven't done any concession granting, so I've been holding on to my victory points. I have a good amount of engagement points saved up. I'm going to want some Russian generals eventually, soon. But, oh man. Let me know in the comments, guys. How do you think this war is going? Is this going better than you thought it would so far? Is it going worse? I don't know a whole lot about the Eastern Front day by day, how the front looked. Even with the ahistorical shit happening, do you think we're doing better? Or wait, why are our troops... Our troops never went to Czernowitz. Alright, well, I'm not going to question that. Do you think we're doing better than Russia did in real life, especially given the circumstances? Do you think we're doing worse? We didn't suffer any giant, major troop destroying defeats over in Eastern Prussia, so that's good. And I don't know about the territory battle. It's pretty even. I guess really all I need to do in this war is survive, hold on, try not to die, and hope that the Western Entente comes through for us and wins the war as they did in history. As a reminder, Serbia and Russia both lost in this war, so we're only here to beat the odds. At least that's my goal. We're only here to beat history and survive. And that just got so much harder. So here's crossing our fingers that the Ottomans decide to focus the British, and that the British decide to focus the Ottomans. Am I right? Yeah. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.